The emotional debate over what to do about Syrian refugees who want to come to the U.S. is being framed not just in political terms by the media, but in moral ones as well. Fox News media analyst and host of Fox's Media Buzz, Howard Kurtz, looks at the sometimes judgmental reporting of a very divisive issue.
The plight of refugees fleeing Syria has become a top campaign issue in the last 10 days, fueled by the Paris attacks and by the mainstream media, where emotions are sometimes coloring the coverage.
The politics of fear can be effective politically, but when does tough rhetoric turn into Islamophobia?
Some on Twitter have not been kind, calling you a traitor to Oregon and a xenophobic. Some say the intent of this bill is to really create so many checks that it will be impossible for any Syrian refugee to come into this country anytime soon.
NBC's Harry Smith showed 3 Republican candidates challenging the admittance of Syrian refugees before reading this biblical passage.
For I was hungry and you gave me something to eat, was thirsty and you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger and you invited me in.
Republican candidates pushing tough restrictions are aggressively challenged.
And you don't think it's un-American to say only Christians, no Muslims? And you're not are you suggesting that all Muslims are terrorists or a threat of being terrorists?
What I am suggesting is the commander-in-chief needs to protect
there are radical Islamic terrorists.
As for liberal outlets, the Huffington Post ran a picture of Syrian children with the headline, "Keep them out," then called it a disgrace when the House, joined by nearly 50 Democrats, passed a measure to tighten security checks on the refugees. Salon denounced America's latest round of anti-immigrant racism with a photo of Donald Trump. CNN suspended global affairs correspondent Elise Labott for 2 weeks over her reaction to the House vote on Twitter. Statue of Liberty bows head in anguish. Labott has apologized. But concern about a flood of refugees is hardly a fringe position. In the latest Fox News poll, 67% of those surveyed said they oppose the president's plan to admit 10,000 Syrian refugees. The debate involves 2 clashing American values: humanitarian concern for those in need versus protecting the country against potential threats. But some in the media are casting it as a moral issue with only one side. Brett?
Howie, thank you. Democratic and Republican presidential candidates are blasting a plan that would essentially send one of the biggest U.S. corporations overseas. Pfizer and Allergan are pursuing a $160 billion buyout. It would send their legal domicile and principal executive offices to Ireland in order to lower their corporate tax rate. Hillary Clinton says the merger will leave taxpayers holding the bag. Bernie Sanders said it would be a disaster for American consumers, and Donald Trump calls it disgusting. Stocks were down today. The Dow lost 31. The S&P 500 dropped 3. The Nasdaq was off 2.